Welcome back to another video of me sitting on a bench talking about what's present for me. Maybe it's present for you, so let's dive into it. All negativity in this world comes from the masculine, or maybe we should say the lack thereof. Now, what do I mean by this? Because that's a bold statement. I mean that the feminine energy has no desire to control, to take over, to own, or to distort life. The feminine, she is life itself. She's the one that desires to be witnessed, that desires to amplify, multiply, love, nurture, move, dance, breathe. She is life. However, what has distorted her and enslaved her is the need for domination, or that need for completion or control or enclosure that the wounded masculine has. So yes, the title of this video is All Negativity Comes from the Masculine, but what I really mean by that is it comes from the wounded masculine, or the lack thereof of the masculine energy, because there is no such thing as toxic masculinity or wounded masculinity. There's just masculinity, femininity. Both of them are healthy, but the lack of, that's when you get into the toxic or the lack, right? So the lack thereof, when we're talking about the masculine, is in, say, men or women that try to control, hurt, win over other people. It's the lack of masculine energy. It's the lack of their inner king standing strong, because the inner king stands there and says, there is no competition. I am who I am, and I'm here to live my life in full expression, to hold steady a firm foundation and a strong structure for my inner queen to flow through. And this works for both men and women, because we all have that duality of the non-duality, the masculine and the feminine. So when we see this pain, this suffering, this control, this domination, it's not too much masculinity, because masculinity doesn't stand for that. It is the lack of masculinity. It is the lack of that clear awareness that I'm here to serve the creator, the feminine energy. The creation comes through the womb, right? Comes through the yoni, the portal of life into this realm. Feminine, she creates. We provide safety, structure, and the gift of witnessing the feminine. The feminine's greatest desire is to be witnessed. We talk about needing to provide and protect, give safety to the feminine. And while this is true, it's not the deepest, it's not the foundation, because in order to know what we need to provide and to know how to create safety for the specific feminine expression we're witnessing, we have to witness her. I can't give my wife protection and safety if I'm not first witnessing her and saying, how does she need safety given to her? How does she need provided for? And that takes witnessing first. Witnessing the feminine energy on the inside of us is the foundation for everything. Once we start doing that, then we can start witnessing the feminine on the outside of us. This is something I did several years ago after my last relationship ended. I realized I was unclear on the feminine and masculine dynamic, and it was showing up in that relationship. I didn't know how to lead, and I really didn't understand her feminine makeup, her energy. And so I took a feminine cleanse, which is what I did, 90 days of not speaking to any women, because that was the external feminine energy in the world. I didn't speak to anybody, including my mom, no women. Now, this doesn't mean I was like rude to a waitress at a restaurant or anything, but I wasn't speaking to them differently than I would a man. I was very indifferent to all forms of women, all feminine energy. This left me with one feminine energy to be around, and that was mine. And during this 90 days, I got so intimate with my own inner queen. I realized what her needs were. what she's been trying to say to me for years, how she had been trying to create this inner union and do this beautiful sensual dance with my inner king, my masculine energy. And guys, when I learned this, everything started to amplify. You know how we talk about how women amplify everything you bring to the table, whether it's positive or negative? Well, it's the same thing with our feminine energy. She amplifies everything we have. And this is the biggest key takeaway I got through going through this experience was I will only experience the feminine on the outside of me to the depth at which I've experienced my own feminine. So how I listen to her, how I hear her, how I know her, how I show up to serve her, how I create safety for myself, my inner queen, and how I create with my inner queen, all of those are mirrored on the outside of me. Proof of this is now being with my wife, Jenny. As soon as I met her, my heart expanded, it opened, and it was, this is safe, this is familiar. She was amplifying my own feminine foundation. What I had cultivated with my inner wife, I now saw in Jenny, and that's never gone away. Every interaction I have with my love, I see that she is the physical manifestation, the representation of the health and the depth that I've gone to with my own feminine energy. The mirror is fucking real and it's so powerful. So going back to the lack of masculinity being the cause of pain and suffering in our inner worlds and our external worlds, just look around. The pain in this world, there's no strong pillars of presence and safety. The only strong, hard lines we really see in the mainstream world are those that seek to destroy or dominate or enslave. That is the lack of masculinity. That's not masculine energy. Even though it's the patriarch and there are mostly men perpetrating this, it's not masculine energy. It's all sorts of distorted energy from pain and suffering and fear and lack and all of that. None of those exist in the masculine and the feminine. No distorted energy, lack, pain, suffering, none of those come from the masculine and the feminine. Those are the healthy, whole, developed expressions of energy in this realm. Everything other than that is a less cultivated, less whole, less unified energy. Now, how is this important for you men? Well, I'll say this. If you're a men's coach, if you consider yourself a leader, a mentor, someone to look up to, maybe you say, yeah, I've figured out my diet, my fitness, my business, my relationship. I am a man that can be modeled after. First off, I want to say thank you for being a model. Thank you for showing the world what they can do based off your example. And I will also say this, if you are this man, but you are still consuming animal products, here's the problem with that. The masculine, the true, healthy masculine energy is here to honor, serve, and protect the feminine energy. As long as you are consuming animal products, meat, which is eating the mother's babies, eggs, eating the mother's babies, dairy, drinking the mother's milk as an adult man, you are distorting, not honoring, and ultimately enslaving the feminine energy in this world, and you're not a safe man. The women and the children of this world need to feel fully safe in the presence of us as masculine pillars, leaders, and castles of refuge and protection. But how can the womb of the mother, her intuition center, fully trust us if we're still eating her babies, drinking from her teat as an adult man? How can she ever fully trust us, knowing that by doing these actions of consuming animal products, you are enslaving all of these female animals, which are representations of the great mother, the feminine energy. Doesn't matter what body they come in, human or animal. It is the great mother. It is the portal of life. It is that divine expression of the one, the essence of life, the feminine energy. And as men, we are here to protect and honor that. And you can't do that if you're eating animal products. And this is what it comes down to. If you haven't learned yet that you can fully sustain yourself, grow, amplify, expand your body, your vessel, by only consuming plants, then you've got more to learn. But I'm here to tell you that this is possible, and it's not just me. I've only been plant-based for 4 years, and I've still built muscle on plants. Can you see this? Can you see this in the sun? Okay, I'm very healthy and vital. No animal products, but I'm just a very small example of this. And you can't deny this one, but the strongest men in the world are plant-based, and that's been proven. Look at the strongest primates, the strongest animals in the world: rhinoceroses, hippopotamuses, apes, gorillas. If you know this truth that you don't need animal products, but you're still living in the illusion that, oh, I feel better, I look better, then you haven't gone deep enough to honor the feminine and figure out, why is this? And I'm speaking to you men that are out there like, oh, I like eating a lot of plants. I'm mostly plant-based, but I still eat a lot of eggs. I don't eat meat, but I eat a lot of eggs. You're saying I'm not willing to go deep enough into my own experimental journey of figuring out how to sustain myself on plants, that I'm going to shortcut that. I'm going to stop here and say, yeah, sorry ladies, sorry feminine energy, I'm still going to eat your babies because I'm not man enough to go figure out how to do it otherwise. This is something I had to come to terms with. I went and figured it out. The strongest men in the world have figured it out, and it's not that hard. It's cleaning out your glands and your organs, allowing yourself. See, these dogs get it. They're like, stop fucking with the animals, man. Once you detox the glands and the organs and you bring your hormone production centers back to value, you can produce your testosterone. You can produce your hormones, the chemicals, everything from all the factory systems inside your body, the factory of life, without the stimulation of all the things from eggs, all the things from meat, all the things from dairy. All of those do is stimulate you. And if you're still in the process of getting stimulated, well, is that safe for the women either? Is that safe for the brothers that want to trust you with their back? If you're still out here getting caught up in stimulation, I'm not saying being stimulated is wrong, but if that's what you rely on, if that's your daily habit to be stimulated by the death of animals, I'm sorry, but I don't want to build with you, brother. I don't trust you because you haven't gone to your depth to figure out, how do I sustain myself in alignment with nature while still honoring and protecting all forms of life that have empathy, that have a central nervous system, that are part of this family. Until you get to that point, I will love you, but I will not accept you into my inner circle because you cannot be trusted. I would never trust you with my woman. I would never trust you with my children, and I would never trust you with my back. I would not turn my back on you because there's still an energy of distortion and lack in you that you are not willing to figure it out. As a true servant of this realm, there's a deep level of fear and ultimately self-hate that you don't love yourself enough to figure this out and to become fully aligned with nature and get that animal DNA, that pain and that suffering out of your body. I teach men this. I teach women this. How to clean your vessel, how to get these distortions out of your body, how to become consistent and vital on a plant-based diet. If you need help with this, drop it in the comments. Find me on Instagram. Reach out to me. I take a select few of people each year on for one-on-one clients. Outside of that, I've got the Warriors Table, which is an online men's community that is owned by multiple of us men that show up, these warriors at this table. We've earned our seat at this table to hold each other accountable, and you don't have to be plant-based to get in there. There's a lot of men in there that are still eating animals, and I still love you and I accept you and I will train with you and I will give you all the codes that I've gotten in my life. And I will pray that you come back to balance so that you can trust yourself, so that the women and the children and the men around you can see that you trust yourself, and we can all come back into a family of loving, breathing, sentient beings, including all the animals. Because when it comes down to it, all the problems in your life, all the issues, all the lack, I imagine it's lack of masculinity. And I'll use myself as an example. Right now I'm going through something in my life where I realize my feminine is asking for more support, more love. And the reason I haven't gotten past that at this level with her is because the masculine hasn't witnessed that need in her until recently. And he said, oh, there's more, my love. There's more for you. Okay, I see that you need more support. You need more love. And then the tears come on and the healing happens and she feels seen. Now I'm working on how does the masculine create that structure for her to receive more love and more support. And I can see this on my body too. The left side of my body has more distortions than the right side because she, the feminine, the left side, is in more pain, more lack. This is a beautiful body we've been given. This is a beautiful mind and heart. These systems that we've been given that have been encoded with remembrance so that we can navigate and make the adjustments necessary to reach the level of expression that we want to push out into this world. This is beautiful. And this isn't guilt or shame or fuck that person, they're telling me I should be different, I'm fine the way I am. No, this is how far can you go while still accepting yourself? How far can you go into your shadow, into where, nah, you're missing the mark, bro? How far can you go into that while still being confident and proud of yourself, still pressing your edge? Because a man that can show up in the face of his shadow, accepting where he is not fully developed, and still love himself and still show up, that is a safe man for the woman to rest in. This is something that I'm continually going deeper in. Accepting myself, not being shaken by any shame or guilt that comes up, so that my wife can see that, yeah, this man, he feels some pain, he feels some shame, but he's not getting lost in it. He's still strong and steady. And this is something I'm deeply working on. And I'm so grateful for my wife's grace and patience as I continue to become forged another layer thicker and deeper and stronger, because we've got decades of forging. That hot iron on that anvil, getting one more strike from the hammer, another strike from the hammer. It's not done. We've got a lot of forging to do. So don't think you're done yet. Don't think that I'm done or that I think I'm done. We're in this together. And that's exactly what we're doing in the Warriors Table. So if you need a community of strong men that are forging themselves alongside of each other and supporting each other's forging process without guilt, without shame, but with honor, reverence, come join us, brother. Let's train. Let's get it. I hope this little bench rant left a seed for you about honoring the feminine energy within you first and foremost, because that is how you will honor the feminine energy in the world around you. It doesn't start on the outside ever with anything. It always starts on the inside. And I hope you contemplate what it means when you see lack in your life or the world around you. It means there's a lack of masculine presence. And we can fill that void because us men, we are tapped into the infinite masculine energy. We can bring forth any level we need to. All we have to do is get present with it, get aware, get intentional with it, and do it. No one else is going to do it for us. The women are waiting, but we're the ones that have to do it. Drop in the comments anything you got from this video, anything you want to add. Maybe you have a different perspective on this. Maybe there's something that you feel like I missed the mark on. Please drop it in the comments. That's what this life is about, is conversating on what we feel like we've remembered so that we can help each other refine our gnosis in this life. Lots of love.